So hi everyone, thank you for joining today. Thank you, Eric, for speaking. I know you've spoken in the past at one of our events, and it's always great to have you. So thanks again.
My
So Eric
pleasure.
Simmons is the CEO and co-founder of WorkWolf, a technology platform that validates resume claims and credentials in real time for consumer and enterprise markets, validating both quantitative and qualitative attestations. WorkWolf is creating a new standard of what is acceptable as a legitimate applicant submission. Thanks again for speaking today, Eric, and good luck.
Thanks very much. I hope I don't need luck, but thanks for coming out, ladies and gents. So I wanted to talk to you about something that's going to be really applicable to you guys. So I don't know where you are in terms of your job cycles or your job searches or what your level of experience is, but of course it's relevant. But in terms of what I'm seeing in the job market, there's a big shift, a big transition in terms of what's acceptable out there, and what candidates are putting forward as their experience level and what they've accomplished in their careers. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. And I want to set you up for success, whether or not you're looking for a job now, or if you'll be looking for one in the near or not so distant future. So let me start with a slide deck, and I like things to be as interactive as possible. So please raise a hand or put something in the chat if you want to ask a question, and then I'll leave it totally open at the end so that we can have an open dialogue. That's the best way for us to be able to get to what your problems are, and then bring my experience if I can be helpful and give you some guidance in any way. So let's just start with the deck, and hopefully this thing's working a little bit better than when I tested with Alex, but if not, I'll share my entire screen if I can't pop up the window. So I'm just going to share. Oh, and there you go. The window works. Awesome. So I'm going to hide this and I'll start from the beginning. Okay. So first thing I want to do is talk to you guys a little bit about who I am and why I'm even here talking to you today. So typically, if I'm listening to a speaker, I want to know that they've done something pretty cool or pretty impressive, and what kind of experience they have that they're sharing with me. Otherwise, I just won't be that interested. So a little bit about me. I'm a founder and bootstrapper. And if you guys who know what bootstrapping means, it means you've built companies that are entirely financed by yourself. So you didn't go outside for any investment. So I founded Magnus Healthcare Recruitment Solutions in 2011. And, we've done over 10 million in revenue. And I'm an exclusive founder of that. So it's a pretty big accomplishment to build out a business that's been that successful. I'm also the founder of WorkWolf. And WorkWolf, in terms of how we've raised capital or how we've gotten as far as we have, we've raised 2.2 million in investor capital. So that means going out and pitching on the road and talking to VCs and venture capitalists and angel groups to be able to get them interested in our technology and get them to put some capital forward so that we can use it to build our tech. I would say at this point, having owned a talent acquisition business for a decade, I'd be considered a subject matter expert in the employment market. And companies like Amazon and J&J I mentioned before, but over 150 others, bring me in to consult regarding their hiring practices and how to hire better people for their organization. I've overseen 10,000 plus hiring cycles. So that's a significant amount of, you guys probably in your career might see 10 or 20 of them from yourself. I've seen over 10,000. And it's never a straight road to success. I've earned millions and I've lost millions. And I think that gives you an indication of my personality type. I'm not afraid to take risks. And I go out there and I always throw myself in the fire to learn more. Which is why I think I have lots that I can share with you that would be valuable in the job market and what you're looking for. And then finally, I've built several development teams, sales teams, and marketing teams. And I would welcome you to join my network on LinkedIn, which now has close to 30,000 followers. So please feel free to join my network. And I usually post about kind of leadership principles and things that are of interest to people who want to grow their careers. So moving on in terms of why you guys are here, getting an interview and nailing an interview. These are kind of the two most important variables that outside of your technical experience as a developer is really what's going to differentiate you from somebody else in the marketplace. And the competition is fierce. So how do you differentiate yourself from other people that want the same job that you do? So your job is to make their job easier. What I mean by that, and they're the hiring manager, they're the head of engineering, the VP of tech, or the HR manager. And these are the criteria that they're going to be looking for on your LinkedIn profile or your resume. They're looking for your years of experience, your technical capabilities that you'll need to prove probably in a technical interview or a test, your credentials, certificates, degrees, diplomas, and whether or not you're going to fit within their environment or personality culture. And if you can provide these to your employer ahead of time, or if you can show them these, and I don't mean just by proclaiming them on a resume, but actually proving them, you'll shut out your competition 80 or 90% of them. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. So first of all, you got to stand out, right? So you have to have something that is going to make your resume jump to the top of the pile. And here are your two biggest challenges that you're going to face. One is that the number of applicants that are out there that are highly skilled and capable, it's doubled in the last year. And unfortunately, or fortunately, if you're a good developer, that competition is exponentially growing. So one, the technology field has exploded, and it will continue to grow exponentially, just like technology does overall. And I think the second biggest issue is that when I say BS, I mean straight up crap. BS resumes muddy the water. And I want to talk a little bit about what this is doing to the systemic problem in the hiring market and what I've seen with hundreds of clients. And the systemic issue is that people are almost forced to fabricate resumes, falsify, you could even call it fraudulent. But if you string it down a little bit and you go to just what sugarcoating or little white lies, everybody, the majority of people embellish their resumes. And that has created this kind of like digital personas today, which I really have a personal problem with, where it's everyone shows their best side, and the authenticity has really gotten away from how people are positioning themselves out there. And so I really stand for authenticity and for truthfulness, and that's what I built my technology company to be able to do. And it solves a massive problem. And it's a $660 billion market problem per year in North America of resume fraud. So the game has changed. And what I mean by that is the stats show 60% of your competing job applicants are falsifying or embellishing their resumes. You may be one of them, and I don't hold it against you. It's almost like your hands are tied and you got to do it to compete. I'm going to give you a game changer today that is going to allow you to compete on a whole other level. And the reason why it's very important right now is because employers know that people are fabricating their resumes, and half of the time that they're spending with you during this interview process is just to see if what's on your resume is true. So if you can take that 50% of time out of the process for them, they're going to want to see you. They're going to want to hire you, and you're going to make their lives a lot easier. And that's what gets you a job. So people are trying to compete on the front end by, let's say, sugarcoating their resume, and then what happens on the back end is so much time is wasted to just try and verify the information. So what our tech does is it allows you to crush the competition with truth. And so I'm going to show you the game changer here. And this is what we've done in terms of our tech and how it's going to help you in terms of standing out in front of the competition is we've created, used some pretty cool tech, blockchain, a permission ledger. We use some AI and some machine learning and some personality psychometric assessments to take all of the kind of manual process out of the job hiring market. And we've empowered the job applicants or candidates now to be able to validate themselves. And very simply, we do it by having hundreds of thousands of tie-ins or APIs with credential issuers. So it's like 5,500 post-secondary academic institutions and governing bodies, federal government ministry. And those issuers will deposit these credentials in a credential vault that you now own and control, and a permission ledger is what allows access to this information. And you control it. So now you can allow people, by granting access, that means employers and recruiters, to the same information that takes 2 weeks to get from a background checker. So the beauty is that your digital persona can now be authenticated directly and in real time by anyone who wants to see it, but you don't have to show them unless you want to. You have full control. And this is actually a copy of my LinkedIn profile. And one click, that verifiable credential will take you here, which is a dashboard. And so the dashboard is a real-time verification mechanism. It shows everything that I've had validated, but the only way to actually see the results is to go to the access request button. I get notification that someone wants to see my information, and I allow them or I don't allow them. And we just set it up to actually now be able to validate COVID. So we're going up against Salesforce. We'll probably not win that race, but they're looking to do the vaccination proofing too. So the other piece of this is how you nail the interview. So I'm going to give you a couple tips here. If you guys are applying for 5 or 6 or 10 different jobs, I know that's kind of the preemptive way to do it. I would suggest, if you do that, make every single one of those companies feel like they're the only company that you are interviewing for. And that means you got to be on the ball in terms of follow-up and everything in between that actual face-to-face meeting. So of course you put your best foot forward, but what you want to be able to do is to actually volunteer to do the projects for them, to take the tests, to do the assessments. And if there is a way for you to actually provide them some information or some assessments ahead of time, that would also help them. And this is where the PackFinder comes in, and something that you guys can use and something that's free for you to use. So the PackFinder uses, by the way, about 30 million people have taken this. So it's extremely smart in terms of the data science that we have. And it can predict not only if you're in the right career path, but what job you would be best in based on your personality type and how you are hardwired. So as opposed to this kind of, I liken it to dating, right? So everyone's on their best behavior for 6 months until finally we find out who people really are. And that's why most dating ends after about 4 to 6 months, and people recognize, that person isn't really who I thought they were. Employment's the same way. So if you can show employers that actually, no, this is exactly who I am, and in terms of whether or not I'm team-oriented or analytical, or I have a high level of stress tolerance, or if I can work really well autonomously, or if I prefer kind of a team environment, or I'm highly responsive versus proactive. These are all things now that the PackFinder can actually predict performance in several different types of jobs. So anyone who's here today, you can take this for free on our website, which is workwolf.com. And that, if you position that with your resume to an employer, they will, and by the way, this costs employers about $100 to use. So they'd certainly like it if you provided it to them in a way that's kind of tamper proof, which is what our credential vault actually does. You can't, once the information's in there, you can't falsify that information. So it kind of takes that fear away from the employer, empowers you to be able to say, I'm different than the rest. Okay, and I'll finish up there. I want to open it for questions, but I want to say that we're hiring. So I'll take this opportunity to say, if there's anyone out there who wants to connect with me, I urge anyone who's here to connect with me on LinkedIn. And by the way, I will also, anyone who's here who's, I'm honored always to speak, and anyone who has taken time out of their day to see me, I'm going to give you a $100 WorkWolf verification on top of the PackFinder for free. So ping me on LinkedIn, connect with me, and I will send you a discount code for $100. So you can use that, and then you've got your digital work passport to be able to use for the rest of your career. So thank you very much. These are the roles that we're hiring for right now. So if any of those fit you, then ping me, and we will we'll talk and see if we can get you in for an interview. Thanks very much. All right, so we got some questions here. feedback, and thanks everybody for joining. So yeah, definitely 34 folks, please ping me and I will make sure that I get you a free. Matthew. So I'm going to just start with the questions here. So how does it work? If you want to have a technical discussion, then I'm happy to have that with you offline, but it will take a little bit more time. Matthew Lai, the Pathfinder, it's actually the Pathfinder. So like in the WorkWolf, the Pathfinder, is it like Ray Dalio's Principles U assessment? I haven't taken that one, so I don't know. I don't know if Ray Dalio has had 30 million people complete his Principles U assessment. So I'd say our data science is probably a little different, but I'll have to try that one out. Co-op roles are only permanent. So Joanna, we actually do have intern positions that are available. So please do reach out to me on LinkedIn. And again, my LinkedIn, my LinkedIn profile is Empower Your People. That's how you can find me. Or my name is Eric Simmons, ErikSimins. Just look me up and follow me. Or I don't think my connections are on, or if they are, just invite me to connect, and I will be happy to connect with you and provide you any information you require. Kelly, you're welcome. My pleasure. Christina, my pleasure to present. It's always a good time. So Sini, I'm glad you got some insights. If there's any additional questions, please reach out. Miraz, more details about the full stack developer position for sure. So I think we have that posted on LinkedIn under WorkWolf on LinkedIn. So we've got a full job description there. Please go. You also may want to connect with Sean Lai. Sean is our head of engineering, who's that role will be reporting to. So please feel free to reach out to Sean as well and ask any questions. You completed the Pathfinder this weekend, Nicole. Thank you very much. I'm happy to share my results with you guys. If you want to see what the results of an entrepreneur look like, I'm happy to share those. And Nicole, if you want to share your results with me, please do. That would be super cool. Thanks. Miraz, my pleasure. Zineda, my pleasure as well. So please reach out to me on LinkedIn. Key, great to meet you. And I think if there's no further questions, I'm going to sign off. Any last questions that you'd like me to field? Okay, just a bunch of things coming in. So my pleasure, guys. Hopefully I get a chance to chat with TO Talk, TO Tech, and Mark. I want to thank you again for allowing me to speak, and Rachel and Alex. You guys were super helpful as always. So thank you, and I'll be signing off. Okay, bye for now, guys.